Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak Up Sis Podcast. This is the place where everyday women and men have an opportunity to share their stories to inspire yours. We say what you think no one wants to hear, but everyone needs to know. I'm your host, Angel Charmaine, and tonight, y'all, as you can see, I am solo tonight. Tonight is going to be a chew of the meat, spit out the bone episode. And for those of you who may be new in the space, chew of the meat, spit out the bone is what I like to say when I have something that's a little hard for people to digest. All I'm going to tell you right now is to just chew up the meat, right? Eat that part that's good to you, that's nourishing to your body, that you know is right. And the hard stuff, just spit it out. Don't take it personally. But I want to have a conversation tonight about something that I think is pretty important. It's something that affects me personally, and I know it's something that affects many women. And that is being successful and single. Ooh. Yes. Tonight, I want to talk about being successful and single. And I know for a lot of people, they feel like they're just doing them and they're just happy by themselves and they don't need no man and all that good stuff. But tonight, I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be successful and single, and what I believe one major reason many of us find ourselves in this place. And of course, there are sundry reasons we find ourselves in this place, but there's one in particular that I want to talk about because I think it's important for us to begin to rethink how we sit in this place. So if you are watching via YouTube or Facebook, hello, how y'all doing? I am going to try my best to take a look at some of your comments and questions tonight. But because I'm by myself, I just want to apologize in advance in case I miss anybody's comment or question, because I'm going to try and man both of them. If you are listening via podcast, audio podcast, hi, how you doing? Thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Speak Up Sis Podcast. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you click subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can get notified, get updates every time there's a new video that is dropped here on the channel. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Whew. So you all know that I am currently single. I have not been single forever. I actually am a divorced woman. My ex-husband is deceased at this point in time, and we have 4 sons together. So I have actually operated in several different spaces as a woman. I've been a single mom first, an unwed mom with my first son. And then shortly after, he was about 1.5, I married my husband, and then I became a married woman and a mother, a married mother. And then I became a divorced mom. And now that he's deceased, we were really close. I almost kind of feel a little widowed just a bit in this space as well. So I think I have run the gamut of the types of, women that we have out there. And so now I put myself in a place of being a single woman who is professionally successful. And it is hard out here in these streets. Just let me say, it is so hard out here in these streets trying to date and even deciding on whether or not I want to date, trying to decide whether or not, I want to be remarried or not, or whether I just want to be by myself or not. And I have found with talking to other women that there are more women like me sitting in a place of successfulness and entrepreneurship, whether they're in the corporate arena, they are successful, but they are still single. And what I'm finding is that many of us don't want to be single. Many of us would prefer to be in a relationship, would prefer to have companionship with a man. And let me just go ahead and put a disclaimer out there. I am a heterosexual woman, so that's the only perspective I can speak to. So if you're watching this and you're like, listen, I can't speak on that. You may have to come and be a guest on the show if you want to share that perspective. But tonight, I'm going to be talking about being a heterosexual woman who wants to be in a relationship with a heterosexual man. Okay, so I'm sitting in this place along with many other women who are professionally successful. They've done well for themselves in their lives, but they are now in a place where they are single. Can't seem to find a man. Can't seem to get one to stick around. And there are lots of reasons for that. But tonight, my chew up the meat, spit out the bone is going to be about the fiercely independent woman. That part. I can speak about the fiercely independent woman because I was the fiercely independent woman. And I understand that not all of us sit in that place. This is not a blanket statement for all successful and single women, but I believe many of us do sit in this place where we are fiercely independent. And so I want to kind of go backwards a little bit and talk about how we get here, how many of us get to the place of being fiercely independent. And I do say fiercely because that is what it is. There's a difference between being independent and being able to pay your bills and take care of yourself and that type of thing, and being overly, and the word I like is fiercely independent, to where it becomes a negative thing. And so I want to talk about that tonight, and you all can feel free to chime in as you please. I am going to see if I can pull some of you up on the YouTube, and I'm going to take a look and see if I can pull some of you up on Facebook and make sure that I can access your questions and your comments while I am on here tonight. Okay. So if you have questions, if you have comments, then please feel free to put them in the chat, and I will address them as I see them. So I want to start with when we are little girls. I believe, especially for African-American women, many of us are reared by African-American women, many of whom were single moms themselves. And I don't know about y'all, but I remember my mom telling me when I was a lot younger that I don't need to depend on no man. I should be able to take care of myself. Don't expect nothing from no man. Don't accept nothing from no man. Listen, y'all, I was so bad. A man couldn't buy me a meal. He couldn't buy me a meal because I automatically assumed that he wanted something in return, that I was going to be obligated to him for whatever he did for me. So when it came to doing anything for me, I was like, bro, I'm good. I don't need you to buy me any food. I can buy my own food. I don't need you to, don't buy me no new shoes. I can buy my own shoes. I don't need you to do nothing, because I didn't want to feel like I owed him something. I didn't want to sit in a position where he could somehow say, well, I did this for you, so now you owe me, right? And I think many of us grow up with that. Many of us are taught to be able to do it on our own. You can't trust a man. You know, they're going to always want something, so on and so forth. And I think many of us grow up, we go to school, you know, we get our degrees, we make good money, we do all these things, but we still have this mindset that you can't trust a man, you can't depend on him, right? And you don't want to be obligated. You should always be able to take care of yourself and don't ever depend on a man. And I have a problem with that now. Now that I've lived, I've learned, I've married, I've divorced, and all of those things. And not only that, but I've gotten to a place where I have begun my healing journey and my healing process. And one thing that I believe is that many of us, especially Black women in America, many of us are taught to be women before we're taught to be ladies. And some of you may disagree, but that's my own perspective. And I want to explain what I mean by that. What I mean is, as a woman, you are taking care of a household, you're taking care of children, you're taking care of business. By the time you get to be a grown woman, you are taking care of business. Whereas a lady, right, when we think of a lady allows a man to open the door for her and do things for her and cater to her and things of that nature. And I believe that for many of us, we learn to be women before we learn to be ladies. And what I have found at 44 years old, what I have found is that I have had to learn how to just be a lady and know that I don't have to take care of everything, that I can choose to be interdependent with a man and allow him to do some things and expect that he is going to do some things, right? So this is just, here again, these are some of the thoughts and the ideas that I have about why some of us are sitting in this place where we're super successful and yet we're still single. A lot of women will say, ain't no good men, ain't no good men. And I beg to differ. I believe there are lots of great men out there, lots of men who are looking for good women as well. I believe there are lots of good women and there are lots of good men. However, I think because of some of the teaching we had growing up and how some of us had to live in such a hard way where we were taking care of everything, that we won't even allow a lot of the good men, quote unquote, good men, to just be men. I really believe that many men don't want to deal with another man. And I say that respectfully, sis. But many of us are so fiercely independent that we live in that masculine energy all the time. All the time. I remember when I was married, y'all. And I was something serious when I was married. Like it was insane. I was crazily independent, even though I was married, because I had not started any kind of healing process. I had not dealt with my own trauma. I had in childhood trauma. I had not dealt with any of those things. And some of the faulty teaching and logic that I had been reared with, I hadn't really dealt with those things. So I remember once my husband and I, we went to his friend's wedding. And so we were in the room getting dressed and getting ready to go to the wedding. And I don't even remember exactly what we were talking about, but we started having a conversation, and maybe it was about another couple or something of that nature. But I distinctly remember saying to him, you know, Kevin, I don't need you. I know it sounds crazy, right? But I'm telling my husband, like, I don't need you. And so he looks at me, and mind you, I don't even notice the look he's giving at the time. I'm not really paying attention to it because I'm trying to prove a point. And I'm trying to prove this point that I'm like, I don't understand why he can't understand like what I'm trying to say. And I'm saying to him, like, I don't need you. I want you. Like, I need you as a man, but like, I don't need you. Like, if you don't do it, I'm going to get it done. If you don't pay for it, I mean, I'm going to get it done. I mean, I got a good job. I have my own money and things like that. So I'm here. I am in a hotel room with my husband, telling him that I don't need him, and not understanding what that's doing to him. Because I was fiercely independent. And I know some of you are probably listening going, well, Angel, I understand what you're saying. Because we don't need a man. But what I want to say to you, sis, and this is definitely a chill the meat without the bone moment. All men, all of them, I've not met one yet who doesn't want to be needed by his woman. All men want to feel needed. A man, let me back that up. A man who loves the woman he's with, he wants her to know that he can take care of her. A man who loves the woman he's with, I'm talking about bona fide, real deal, Holyfield, genuine love. He wants her to know that, listen, babe, I can take care of you. I can protect you. I want to protect you. I want to help you. Something wrong with you? Tell me what's wrong with you so I can fix it for you. Men want the women they love or the woman they love to feel to need them. So for a woman to tell a man, I don't need you, that's an issue. That's an issue. And so just think how many of us as single women, we got good jobs, right? I got my own house, got my own car, got my own everything, got my own, I don't need no man for nothing. I remember back in the day, my sisters and our friends, we used to have these conversations. We just could not understand. We just could not understand this concept of this man has this beautiful wife. She is, she's got degrees, she's got a great job, she's given him beautiful children or whatever. And we would always say, and he always end up with some chick in the projects on welfare, ain't got nothing. This right here is probably going to hurt some people. But let me tell you something. It's something about the chick in the projects on welfare. She needs him. This isn't a blanket statement, but I want you to understand something. If a man has all the beautiful woman, she got everything going on. She got the great job. She working, she doing this and that and doing this and that and the other, but she's fiercely independent and she don't need no man and she can handle it all by herself. I seen men go marry the woman in the projects. He ain't cheating with everybody. He meets her, he marries her, and then they stay together. It's important that we realize that we were not created to be by ourselves and just to be dependent on ourselves. We don't need no man. That's just not so. We were created to be helpmeets. We were. Men and women were created to be interdependent, to be dependent on God and to be interdependent with one another. We weren't created to just be all by ourselves. And for those of you who are like, all you want is your cat, your dog, your fur baby, and you're good, let me tell you, the Bible says, y'all know I was going to take it there, right? The Bible says that after God had made all the animals and he made man, and he brought the animals to Adam and he named them all. Listen, there was no animal that was suitable for man. There was no animal that was suitable for man. So God created a woman out of the man. So even if you're sitting around talking about all you need is your dog, all you need is your cat, listen, no, you don't. The dog wasn't suitable for man. The cat wasn't suitable for man. The snake wasn't suitable for man. A man and a woman were created suitable for one another. So this idea that you don't need nobody is faulty. It's faulty. Chew the meat, spit out the bones. Chew the meat and spit out the bones. So now many of us have gotten to this super successful place. We've got everything we could ever want. We got all the money we could stand. We can travel where we want to travel. We can buy what we want to buy and all these things. And then we want to bring a man into our situation and remain fully, fiercely independent. Not so. Not so. I'm going to take a look at the comments just to see if any of you have anything to share with me on this. I know this is a hot topic. I know it's one of those topics that, you know, presses buttons and people get a little upset. Remember, I'm not making a blanket statement about all women. I am talking about one specific issue that I see many of us have. Many of us have this. And I want to even talk to the men for just a second with this whole idea of you want an independent woman. I tell my brothers all the time, I tell most of the men that I know, you need to understand that when you say you want this independent woman who got all her own stuff and don't need you, there's a whole mentality that comes along with that. You're not just getting a woman who can pay her own bills. A woman who can do everything on her own, who has no desire. Listen, she's like, I don't need you. I can do this myself. You're getting an entire disposition. You're getting a mindset. You're getting a way of thinking. And she's not just going to turn into Betty Crocker because you say you want to marry her. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So I believe a lot of the rap culture and a lot of the culture has gotten us to this place where we have put women in this place where we expect them to just be independent and do all these things on their own. And then all of a sudden, when men want us to be submissive or want us to, you know, cook dinner and do all these different things, and the woman is like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't have to do that. And you ain't got to do nothing for me either because I can do it all myself. I think we're creating this vicious cycle of fiercely independent women. And if I'm really fully honest, transparent, and vulnerable, and for those of you women who are fiercely independent, if you will be honest with yourself, you can honestly say that you really do want companionship. You really do. Most of us want companionship. Most of us want the comfort of a man. I talk to the guys in the studio sometimes when I go into the studio and I tell them it's something about being on a phone call with the bass on the other end. You know, I can talk to my female friends all the time. I can talk to them whenever I feel like talking to them, but it's something different when you have the sound of a man's voice on the other end of the phone. It moves you differently, you know? I can go out to dinner with my friend girls and we can have a good time and laugh and joke and have all the fun that we want to have. It's something different when there's a man sitting across the table from you, you know? And he looking at you like he want to bite you. Or he's sitting next to you, right? and he touch your shoulder, he touch your that. Listen, it's different. Going to the movies by yourself because you can afford it because you don't need nobody, or going to the movies with your friend girls, it's different. It's different. It's a different energy than when a man takes you to the movies, right? He opens the door for you and he lets you walk in before him. He asks you if you want something. You know what I'm saying? You get in the movie theater and he sit real close to you, put his arm. Listen, there's a different energy that you get. There's a chemistry between a man and a woman that you and your friend girls and you by yourself, you don't have. And so most single, successful women will find themselves in situationships with maintenance men. Y'all know what the maintenance man is. Michael Basin wrote a whole book about the maintenance man. You got a lot of successful. You got a lot of successful single women who have a maintenance man. You know, tune them up every now and then. Why? Because they still desire being next to a man. They still want to be with a man. And truth be told, many of them want to marry one. I said it. Many successful single women actually want to be married. But it is difficult to let go of this idea that you got to do it all. Can't nobody help you. Can't nobody do it better than you, right? Sis, let these men be men. Let them be men. I'm going to tell you, I ain't paying half for nothing. I'm just saying. I'm not paying half for nothing. I'm going to allow a man to be a man. You want to take me to dinner? You paying for the dinner. Listen, and I don't owe you nothing except a thank you. Except a thank you. Listen, I teach my sons, y'all. I teach my sons that even if they're taking out a young woman, not to take out a young woman that they don't want to spend their money on for dinner. If you don't like her enough to want to spend your money on her, don't ask her to go out. Don't ask her to go out. I teach my sons that. Why? Because I know that they need to be men, and they're going to be beautiful young women who are raised right, who are going to be looking for men who know how to be men who are providers and caretakers and protectors and all that good stuff. So if I'm teaching my sons to do that, and their father did as well, why wouldn't I expect the same for myself? So listen, y'all, my time is up for the night. I am only here for 30 short minutes. I just wanted to share just a little bit to give you something to chew on tonight. And like I said, chew the meat and spit out the bones. If you're like, Angel, you crazy and I ain't trying to hear nothing you saying, well, you can always learn from something. There's something I said that I know touched your soul somewhere. Deal with that. Whether you're a woman who are fiercely independent or a man who thinks he wants a fiercely independent woman, I want you to really sit back and think about what you're asking for, because you are not going to get that sweet little quiet little docile little Molly McButter from some woman who has been doing everything on her own forever. You're not going to get her. Okay? So, listen, y'all. I'm in the process right now of finding my way in this whole dating thing. I'm learning how to be a lady. I'm learning to let a man open the car door for me and the restaurant door, and to pay for a meal and things of that nature and not feel obligated. I'm still learning those things myself, but you know what? It feels good doing it. And I can say that I have met some amazing men who I know are good men, whether any of them are my husband or not, I don't know. But I'm having fun learning how to just be a lady and to allow myself to be cared for, to be loved, to be taken care of. Even though I can do it myself, I'm learning to allow someone else to help me in the process. So with that, everybody, y'all have a beautiful night. And until next time, don't forget, if you are not already subscribed to Speak Up Sis on YouTube, please do that and hit the notification bell. Come back and check us out every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are following on Facebook or watching on Facebook, please follow us on Facebook. We're also on Instagram at Speak Up Sis Podcast. And you can always send me an email at contact@speakupsis.com. You all have a beautiful evening. Until next week. Bye.